All you do is shake them like this, right on the bottom, just like that. Wow, what a fight from 80 feet of water. Okay, so this is my actual lure going up and down. Look at this, Dave.
Canadian Sport Fishing is brought to you by Rapala Premium Fishing Gear, crafted from experience. Yamaha on the water. This is my Yamaha. What kind of Yamaha are you? Dickies, a legend in work since 1922. Lucky Strike. More fish fight with a Lucky Strike.
This is awesome. We're here on Lake Simcoe, fishing literally in the middle of the lake in about 80, 90 feet of water. And we've got a very mild day. Dave, did you see me fighting that fish from over there?
I do see. I'm just running through the slush.
I was just telling the viewers that we've got this nice mild day and we're in the middle of the lake. You know, with the mapping system, I was looking where we are, and we are literally in the middle of Lake
Simcoe.
Simcoe.
About 6 miles out.
Yeah, and we've got a mild day. And the funny thing is that 4 days ago, Dave and I were fishing down in the Bay of Quinte, and we've got wind today too.
Wind. And let me just adjust this.
Yes, perfect. It was minus 24. So the wind's picked up, but at least it's mild. Now this fish is not thrashing around and taking long runs like a lake trout, so I've got a feeling it's a whitefish.
Did you see it come in at all?
Well, you know, all I saw was the bands of baitfish going through. Were you marking baitfish on your sonar?
I was.
So, and I just kept jigging. It was hard not to fall asleep because I had my heater on and just thunk, you know, dead weight, and I set the hook. That's what it is here. Oh, he's pulling line out. It's a waiting game.
And you got to be ready, and your muscles get.
I'm surprised I actually got it. So I've got to go slow because when you get up close to the hole, they start doing donuts around the thing. So hopefully he's not going to get off. You ready to lunge to play the bear? You don't mind getting your sleeves wet?
I don't mind getting wet. Nope.
Okay, so it's slowly getting up. We should be seeing the swivel. I've got about 30 inches from my swivel to the actual jig. So we're getting close. We've got a nice angle on the line. You know, we're using light line. Both Dave and I are using 8-pound test line with a fluorocarbon tippet 8-pound test. Because the water's so clear here. Oh, there's a swivel.
Here comes the swivel.
Okay, get ready. Yes.
Okay.
Oh, no. Okay. You can get your hands right underneath it. You got...
Oh, a little higher. A little higher. There we go.
Beautiful. Look at the size of this whitefish. You know, we were doing this last year and we had almost the same conditions.
We did. Slow start and then
we had water on top.
That this is a good sign.
Yeah, that is a gorgeous fish. Now, I think all of the whitefish on Lake Simcoe are stocked because this one is missing that adipose fin. See if I can get that hook. They've got such small mouths. You know, when you look, when you look at the size of their mouth, if you can hold it up, Dave, it might be hard without it flying out of your hands. It's okay. There's lots of water on the ice. It's like a live well out here. If you can hold them up higher, look at how tiny, for the proportion of the body, how tiny that mouth is. So they're definitely a bottom feeder, but sometimes they will suspend. You know, I hear of guys fishing in the summertime for lake trout with fluttering spoons, and every once in a while they'll get a whitefish.
They'll get a whitefish.
Yeah, suspended. Now he's got to be about 5-6 pounds.
Yes,
he's a long
solid,
fish.
meaty.
Yeah? And there's that missing adipose fin. So I think that's a stocked fish, definitely. Okay, well, let's put him back. He should take off. We're going to keep some other ones, but this is the first one. See if he leaves here. Sometimes you got to push him out, down. Oh, he's trying.
One more push.
He's doing the wave, the famous wave.
And one more tail shake.
He just went.
Gone.
You know, when the fish come up from that deep of water, sometimes if you reel them too quick, they build up gas, especially with lake trout.
Yeah.
And for lake trout, they actually call it burping. I don't know if you ever had to do that, where they come up and their air bladder fills up. So you either have to literally get them to burp if you don't see air bubbles being released, or you have to take something like a little knife and just pierce them in the side, making sure not to go into an organ, and that just releases the air. That guy went down, so he was okay. But this is the same jig that we were using last year. The one that you're using, Dave, is a little bit darker.
And modified too, right?
Yeah, modified, because we put these treble hooks on there just to make sure that we hook the fish. But you can see it looks like a little minnow, and when you have it sitting on the bottom and you just twitch your line, you can see how the tail comes up. Almost looks like a bait fish feeding on the bottom. And if you give it some larger strokes, it literally darts up off the bottom like a bait fish. And it definitely fools the fish. And that was just a bare jig. You know, a lot of people think that you have to tip your jig like we did for the walleye, but not always. But what was interesting on that sonar, the waves of bait fish were coming through on the bottom. It's almost
Solid
like a
band.
straight line. So I was lifting my jig up to about this high. So the band of bait fish has to be 2 or 3 feet along the bottom. Oh, look. This is, you know what that is?
It's like a smelt.
Yeah, that fish was probably regurgitated by the whitefish. So they're small. With the smelts are larger, you know, some of the smelts can be up 8 to 10 inches. You can actually hook them on your jigs because they're very aggressive. But I guess it's just small smelts, but that's what they're feeding on. Pretty interesting, eh?
Yeah, well, hopefully the bite started now.
Okay, well, that's the first one.
We'll get a couple back to back here.
So even if you see just bait fish, if you don't, you know, mark any individual fish, just keep jigging.
Going.
Because I think those whitefish are trying to, you know, the bait fish are moving so quick that the whitefish can't get them unless there's an injured one or something.
Yep.
So if they see your jig, boom. Thank you very much.
Thank
I
you.
hope your sleeves aren't too wet.
They'll dry quick.
Okay, good.
Dickey's Sport Fishing Sweepstakes.
I was fishing for rainbow and I wanted to put on Charlie lure. I asked my dad and he said that okay, but you wouldn't catch anything. Then 20 minutes later, I had the fish on my line. It was a pretty big fight. I really like to fish with my dad because he takes me out and it's really fun.
We'd love to hear your fishing story. Go to our website and enter the Dickey's Sport Fishing Sweepstakes. It's free, and you could win some great prizes.
I know you've done this before. I'm going to try not to make you nervous.
Don't
You're doing
worry.
everything right.
I'll
Now,
take advice.
I'm going to get my knees soaked. I'm looking if there's anything I can kneel down on. You just fight the fish.
Grab my
I see-
gloves if you want.
Well, no, I
They're
see
there.
the lid of the pail.
Yeah, I
This
picked
is
the
very
wettest
handy.
spot on the ice
Yeah.
because I didn't think anyone else would want it.
Now you got to tell me, did you mark bait fish or the
no,
fish?
just the fish. No bait fish, just the fish.
Okay, remember to
I
go
was
slow.
actually playing
You
with
know-
the sonar
Wow.
and zooming in on it and saw the mark separate from my jig, so I dropped the jig down just a little bit and it was there, just
What
wham.
a feeling, eh? That
Oh, I was like, and I wasn't ready. I was not ready.
okay, you're doing great.
We're getting,
You've got light line. That's
yeah.
the good news.
That's,
And a little wimpy rod. Look at this. Look at it pull on out. I think it just realized it was hooked, eh?
I think it realized he was coming up, and it said, not today.
Now look I got a little disc like this. I've got these overalls, you know, they're work overalls, but they're not really waterproof because when you ice fish, normally you're not wading around in water. We could have wore our waders today.
Today would
Yeah.
not be a day without rubber boots.
Yeah, no. Go really
Okay.
slow when it starts to do the thing, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm ready to get wet. I will get wet.
You're
for
gonna
you.
get wet for me?
Yeah. Okay, easy.
Okay.
Easy.
Oh,
It's a lake trout. Easy, easy, easy.
Come on, come on.
Wait. No, don't.
Oh,
wait.
he's big.
Easy, yeah,
yeah,
easy.
yeah.
Try to get it. Don't let the line go loose, but gently guide its head.
Okay. Ready?
Easy,
Ready?
yeah,
Re-
but
oh,
easy.
oh.
Don't break it off. Don't break it off. Wow, what a mammoth lake trout. You know what? He inhaled your jig. Okay, you hold it. Here, I'm not holding this big thing. This is where, there's the jig sticking
There's
out of
the
its
jig,
mouth.
there's the jig.
Let's get a picture of the happy angler. Look at this, Dave. That's awesome.
That's a nice fish.
Yeah, we've been working our hearts out here because of the conditions. We've got water on the ice. That is a gorgeous lake trout. I bet you that fish will go close to 10 pounds.
Yeah.
And I'm looking to see if it's got any fin clips. You know what? This is probably a natural. Oh
Natural.
no, there's
There it is.
adipose.
Okay,
Adipose, yeah, stockfish. You know, here on Lake Simcoe, Dave, they've done such a great job stocking whitefish and lake trout. The guys get them all summer long, and they're such great sport to get through the ice.
He's a good fighter.
Look at the vermiculations, the width of this fish, gorgeous coloration. They're good eating too, but you know what? We're releasing our first fish because we know we're going to get more.
I know.
Yeah.
I play the game.
That's right. Okay.
Okay,
Let's
get
slide
him.
back in. If you hold him for just this. Oh, I guess. Look at. He took off
yeah,
like a
he wanted to
bullet.
go.
Fish and Girl, Adventures in Your Own Backyard.
Do you want to touch the worm? He won't hurt you.
You want to touch it? I don't think she wants
I don't think so, because it's squirmy. But you know what? Worms are one of the best baits you can use when you're fishing. But if you're trying to catch small fish, like the ones that you were catching, the sunfish, if you were to put this whole worm on your hook,
Yeah.
they would take the worm off, but you wouldn't be able to catch it. So the best thing to do is just to take a small piece of worm, and I'm going to put the rest of it in this worm container that I have here. Okay, so all I have is a very tiny piece of worm, and you can see it squirming here. And I have a very small hook. Do you see how small that hook is?
Yep.
That's because sunfish especially have very small mouths, or panfish. And I'm going to take the worm, and I'm going to put it on the hook so the whole worm is up the hook.
Yep.
And if you go back to fishing, like you were a second ago, if a small fish like a sunfish or a rock bass goes to eat that worm, there's no part of the worm hanging. So he has to get the hook in his mouth.
Closed captioning of this program is brought to you by Yamaha on the water. This is my Yamaha. What kind of Yamaha are you?
It doesn't matter whether you're fishing in 100-degree temperature where it's really hot, or minus 20 or minus 30. I think a key element is to be comfortable so that you're not under stress and you can concentrate on fishing. When it comes to ice fishing, traditionally, anglers have made huts because it does get so cold on the open ice because the wind chill factor really increases. The only problem with these huts is that they're heavy. They're made out of wood and metal combinations. And once you get them set into a location, most fishermen don't like to move them. So you're not really able to move around and follow the fish when the fish move. The other problem is, over the last week or so, we've had very cold temperatures and then very mild, like 10 above. In fact, yesterday we had up to 4 or 5 inches of water on the ice, and a lot of huts have now frozen in, these heavier huts. So it's a real problem because anglers have to take them off the ice by a certain date. So what I've found over the years, that having a portable hut like this one, whether you want to fish as a family and maybe use a 2 or 3 man hut, or a single portable hut like this, it really gives you the versatility of walking around. Now this morning we probably have about -2 to -5 air temperature, and I'm dressed properly so I'm quite warm. But if it got really cold, I have a heater under here that's very portable, and by simply moving the arms of this hut forward, I can enclose it completely. If it's really cold out, this hut has flaps, which because it's so cold, I have them pulled out. These flaps, you actually set the portable hut down, and then you unzip the front of it and you pack snow all around the base to totally seal it to keep warm. And that's of course when you would use your portable heater. If it gets really warm, all I do is pull the front part of the hut up here on the slots and the whole thing falls back. So if it gets nice and sunny, and they're calling for maybe -1, which, believe it or not, when you're ice fishing is very comfortable, anything around 0. And also you can see that the base of the hut is a plastic material. So it's literally like a little boat or a sled. So I have all my gear in here. You can see that I've got my little minnow elevator. I have a couple of packs of rods in here. I have a very nice portable seat that I'll just show you. So whether I want to move around, because you're allowed in ice fishing here in southern Ontario, 2 rods. So I can move from one hole to another, and this compacts right down. So it's really handy, very comfortable to fish out of. So it's very easy to make this seat portable no matter where you're fishing. You can see here I have my ladle, I have extra gloves, I have all the gear that I need to be comfortable out here on the ice. So, and that's a key factor. If you're comfortable, then you can concentrate on catching fish. Now the technique that I use when I'm ice fishing is kind of like when you're big game fishing. I pull up on the fish and then reel down to pick up my line instead of just sitting in one spot and reeling the line. So I'm pulling up, reel down. And I'm kind of going slow here because these guys fight pretty hard on 8-pound test. This guy's way over at an angle. I haven't seen him yet. So this is the critical part where you got to go slow. Key thing when you're ice fishing is not to give, oh, I see the swivel. Oh, I haven't seen the fish yet. Oh boy, he's going around in circles here. I'm always worried here because the line's going along that sharp edge. Oh, there's a bubble, air bubble just came up. Oh, just got to look at it. I'll be very surprised. Oh, it's a lake trout. I thought it was going to be a whitefish. Head shaking, head shaking. See, I'm trying to give the line as much flexibility. Come on. I just got to get his head in the hole. Okay. Okay, he's a little... Oh, come on. A lot of fishermen will use a gaff when they're fishing for whitefish and lake trout. But I just use my hands, old school, I guess. And you know what? When it's cold, you don't want to land too many fish one after another because, you know, you'll freeze up. Now, there's a nice lake trout. And you know what? I've got one whitefish. I'm hoping to get my limit of whitefish. This lake trout isn't too big, so it's going to be a good eater. And I don't see a fin clip. So this is probably a natural reproduction. You can see the adipose is there. The anal fin is there, the two pelvis fins, and then the two pectorals at the front and the dorsal. And I'm guessing that this fish is about 3.5 to 4 pounds, probably 21 to 23 inches long. And he hit that jig. Here, hold it up so you can see it. See that nice foxy jig hooked right in the roof of the mouth? The advantage of using the single hook is that you usually get a very good hook set with the single hook. So there's the jig again. And I'll tell you, if you like to ice fish, I'm just going to move this lake trout over. If you like to ice fish, these jigs are amazing. All you do is shake them like this, right on the bottom, just like that. And it looks like a minnow feeding, you can see. They've got them weighted just right, so when you lift up, there's more weight at the head where the eye is, and that tail just comes up in the air like that. So it looks like a minnow that's actually feeding, and the fish come up. In this case, I lifted the jig right up to get it up high. Beautiful. Nice lake trout. Okay, I'm going to get my line down, and time to warm up my hands. You know, today we're fishing in pretty deep water. We're on Lake Simcoe, Ontario. We're only about an hour away from Toronto, and we're about 5 or 6 miles out on the lake. And we're specifically targeting whitefish, maybe some incidental lake trout. These fish like deep water, and they like feeding close to the bottom. And here in Lake Simcoe, there's a lot of smelts. And those are the bait fish that they're feeding close to the bottom. Now, I just want to show you what I've got rigged up here. I've got two different styles of sonars that are both portable. You can use both of them if you mount them on your boat in the summertime and then remove them from your mount and then put them in these porta packs that you see right here. Now let me explain to you the difference between these two units, and they're both working excellent, by the way. The one on the right here, the 787 C2I, which actually has a card, a hydrographic chart of the lake, is showing me a picture. So if you see on the left-hand screen, I'm zoomed in. Okay, so this is my actual lure going up and down. This is my true screen here. When I say true, 0 to 83.3 feet. But where you see this little box on the bottom, that's all I see on the left. So look, this is my lure if I lift it up and down, and I've got bait fish down there. You see the bait fish? There might be a game fish in those bait fish. Watch me literally snake my jig up and down here. See it going up and down these zigzags? That's my jig. So on this screen over here, it's a sonar screen. See how it's round? The red is bottom, and this green light right here that's moving up and down, that's my actual jig. Now most anglers will use a flasher for fishing. This is referred to a flasher because it's just a flash of light. And this one is a really nice big one. It's the Ice 45. And you can see that it also has a digital readout. Look how close they are. This one says 83.2, 83.2. So this one's fluctuating a little bit. They both are, because we've got a very strong wind here on Lake Simcoe. So it's actually pushing the water up and down. Now let me show you where we are. So I've also have now a flasher screen here. Look at two flashers. See my lure right there? This red is the bottom. That band that's moving up and down, if you see my rod tip, is exactly how my jig is moving. And the same thing here. I'm going to go into the next window. This is where we are on Lake Simcoe. I'm zooming out. When I said that we're in the middle of Lake Simcoe, you can see this is Lake Simcoe. See that 001 mark? We are literally in the middle. I'm going to zoom in. Watch the detail on this thing. See this? It's the actual hydrographic chart of Lake Simcoe. This is Georgina Island. Tora Island's over here. The more I go in, the more detail I'll see. So you can see here, I'm confirming the depth numbers, and I can move the cursor to go right or left. So I'm going to go to where the first break is. There's the first break in about 50 feet of water, and I'll zoom out again. So if I wanted to fish right on that break, I could very easily do that. But this time of the year, the fish are out in the main basin. When you're fishing deep water like this, having a sonar, either one of these, is really advantageous because not only will you spot fish when they come in, but you can see your lure and you can make the fish respond to the lure. And that'll help you catch more fish. Look at the way this little rod is bent. I think it's so cute. Look at that fish is tugging. Now, I gotta just get my gloves off. This is where you need more hands. You get fish in that deep of water, he's coming right up. It's like a little magic wand. Look at this. You can see this is the rod that's got that little strike indicator. And the strike indicator obviously is not working now because I've got a fish on there. And I got a feeling this is a whitefish, just the way he's fighting. You know, this ice fishing thing is a real Canadian heritage. Oh, he's closer. Sometimes you'll see there'll be like cities out here. Oh, now he's head shaking right by the hole. Come on around. Look at all the air bubbles coming up. I think he got me caught on the ice age. Come on. Oh, you. Good. Got him. Oh. Come on. Okay. Yeah, see if I can get the hook out. It's like the whitefish knows where the hole is. There we go. I'm gonna see if I can hold him here. Wow, what a fight from 80 feet of water. You know what, they're hard to hold on to. And I'd say this is probably, again, maybe a little bit below average. That's maybe a 2.5 to 3 pound whitefish. And they're so plentiful, but you have to come out to the deeper water. Sometimes you'll get them when you're perch fishing, you know, in water less than 40 feet deep. And I know guys that get them as shallow as like 20 to 25 feet. But to really intercept the big schools of whitefish here on Lake Simcoe, it really helps to be in that 40 to like 100 foot range. And you can see how thin they are. Look at how tapered they are. Beautiful fish, nice and bright. And even though it's cold out here, I'm telling you what, it's worth putting the time in because they fight great and they're schooling fish and they're very good eating.
Canadian Sport Fishing has been brought to you by Rapala Premium Fishing Gear, crafted from experience. Yamaha on the water. This is my Yamaha. What kind of Yamaha are you? Dickies, a legend in work since 1922. Lucky Strike. More fish fight with a Lucky Strike.
This particular style of jig is called a Little Foxy, and this is the color that I was actually catching my fish on today. This is how you jig it, just like that. Little snaps of the wrist, which makes that little fish dart, and every once in a while I go down so it hits the bottom, lift it, twitch it, watch. Hits the bottom, I just kind of make that tail go back and forth, lift it up, twitches, hit the bottom, tail go back and forth, lift it up. It produces such a tantalizing action that fish can't resist these.